Alright, son, what's poppin'? It's D, man. Now, this video is gonna be real light for y'all. This is gonna teach y'all how to make the perfect steaks, man. Alright? So make sure y'all always get a high quality steak. A steak I have right now is a ribeye. It is something light. It's nothing really that serious. Now, you could take this same recipe and go for it tit for tat, but you can just go the simple route and just put salt, pepper on it. But it's all up to you. These are the seasonings I'm using. Two of these seasonings is my signature seasonings. Those two are the rubs that I made. That's the pepper that I'm using for this. Now, mind you, if you have your own seasonings, as you can see, I'm show you all the seasonings. If you have your own seasonings that you want to put on, you feels good on a steak, throw that on there. All right. But I'm showing y'all what I put on there and how I do it. Now, you can follow this recipe tit for tat if you want, and I promise you it's gonna come out delicious. Right? Now, the way you have to put these seasonings on, it's not like you just douse all of them on top of each other. That's just ridiculous. You put small layers of each seasoning on there. Now, the rubs you put on later on. The 3 rubs I showed you at the end, you put on later. As you can see, it's already has the pepper on it. So now I'm gonna just show y'all with each of the rub, with each one of 2 of my seasons. I'm gonna show y'all with 2 of my seasons. So this is one of them right there. You see, before you put the seasoning on, you need to, no matter what you're using, a plate, aluminum foil like I am, you sprinkle a little bit on the side of aluminum foil to see how much of the capacity is coming out at once. So it's almost like a jump shot. You need to have it the same way each time to come out perfectly. You see how it's perfectly glazed on top? It's not too much of it. It's not overbearing. Now you go to the next one. The same thing goes for the garlic and the onion powder. Just put a small coat on top. That goes for each one. You could take this and run with it. The way I do it, I put salt, and then I put the pepper. I put the pepper first all the time. Then I put the salt. Then I put the garlic. Then I put the other thing and type salt. And then instead of just putting a whole bunch of one thing of salt on there, it don't taste that good like that to me. So I put different coats on it. Now, once I get to the rubs, I'm going to do the same exact way, but I'm going to rub it down. So the seasonings can get up in there and the rub can get up in there. That's why I got one glove on, so I can make sure to rub it down. Now you rub the steak. You rub the steak all firm and nice. Make sure you get up all in the crevices. So remember, it's just a small coat. It's a small coat. Nothing crazy. That's why you see it seems like I'm shaking a lot of it, but no salt is really coming out, because I want small pieces of it coming out. I don't want no crazy amount of salt all over my steaks. Then your steak is gonna be way too salty. It's gonna be way too salty. All right. Now like I showed you, to rub down. We're gonna rub that whole down like that. Look at that. You see the glistening on that? It's already glistening. It's already glistening. You see that? It look like you could eat it right now. Oh man, look at that beauty. So now this one right here, I have the holes on it where it's really difficult to come out. It's a certain type of rub, but I mixed it in with my own seasoning, so it's not just like big blocks basically, or like the sea salt. It's not like that. So it's like a mixture. So I shake it up so it could break up, and it can come out like that. So I shake it a little bit harder to get a little more seasoning out of it. But as you can see, it's not too much. Now, what most people don't do, what you need to do, especially with steaks, this is for bigger steaks, but even those short steaks like this, you want the whole thing to be flavored up. So you season the sides with your favorite seasoning, which this is my favorite seasoning right here. So I season every side with my favorite seasoning. Make sure you don't overbear it again. You don't put too much of it. You know, that side cone, you only put in this. You don't gotta put no salt, pepper, and all that extra on the sides. Some people don't like fat, so they be rendering the fat, and I like the fat. I love the fat. Then you rub it down. See how I'm rubbing that down right there? I'm not bringing that rub to the top. I'm keeping it straight to the sides. So I'm not extra rubbing the top, you know? To me, I feel that depending on how you season your food, how you layer your food with your seasonings is how it's gonna come out. If you layer it differently, it's gonna come out differently. That's just how it is. You can use the same exact seasoning, but if you do your layers wrong, it's gonna come out a whole different type of food. Not type of food, but a type. It's gonna taste different. It's gonna taste way different. But yeah, I'm rubbing it down all softly and everything. So now that after, as you see how I rubbed it down right after with the seasoning I finished off the sides with. So that's fine to do. Now you put in aluminum foil or wrap that joint up, put it in your refrigerator. Now you let that joint sit in your refrigerator, I'll say for about 3 days. Let that dry age right there. If you don't want to, you could throw that right on. You could throw that right on if you want to. You could throw it right on. So now after you clean your station, you go straight into the next things. What you gonna need: your mushrooms. If you don't like mushrooms, you don't need it. Shredded onions, that's already cut for me. You know, I don't feel like cutting onions, so I already get it cut. Now, I like mushrooms a lot. You don't gotta have that much mushrooms, and you don't need to even have mushrooms for this. If you don't want it, you don't need to have it. All right, but that's how it is. Now the butter, that I had was from was pre-made. Was the garlic? I think it was called garlic something. It ain't good. Don't use that. Make your own. The only thing you need to do is just have a stick of butter. Let it sit into room temperature, and then you put garlic powder on it, and then you put some basil on it, and you mix it together. Now this right here, you're gonna need the thyme. You're gonna need thyme and a rhyme and thyme. But it's called rosemary and thyme. Make sure to get that, rosemary and thyme. I call it rhyme and thyme. Now we're gonna get into the garlic, right? So now you cut the garlic in half. You take the skin off, you cut it in half, and I want you to cut it in fours. So you see how I cut it in half first, and then I cut it in fours and chopped it into small pieces after fours. If you find your best way to do it better than this way, do it that way. You just needed to have it in small cubes. Now make sure to get your skillet. Make sure to heat up your skillet. If you have numbers on your skillet, pull it to in between 4 to 3. Have it right in the middle. Or if your set says high, low, whatever, you put it on medium. This right here is garlic. This is avocado oil. I love avocado oil. I feel it's the most healthiest oil you can use. So after your skillet is hot, you put your avocado oil in there, or any type of oil you want to use. I recommend avocado. Then you put your steak in there. It should be sizzling, baby. Hear that sizzle? That's what it should be sounding like. Now remember, this is how the steak is gonna go, right? Once you put it on there, if you want it well done or medium well, keep it on there for 4 minutes. Now every minute you flip it. This is for well done. Right there, and then you flip it when 1 minute passed. Right? Now between each minute, you're gonna be putting different seasonings and different ingredients in there. So now you're gonna be putting the garlic up in there. I recommend the garlic and the onion first, and then you put the thyme. So you put the garlic first, Let it sit in there for a while. Come back, you get that onion. Put the onion in there all nice and firm. Yeah, that sizzle, man. I can smell it right now. Look at that. Now, remember to preheat your oven to 375. Because after this, you're going to have to throw it in the oven. So remember that. Make sure to keep your time up. So now you flip it once again. It's been a minute. Now you go in there and you put your thyme in there. You put your rhyme and thyme in there. Thyme and rhyme. Remember that. Now, I was running out of thyme and rhyme, so I just used whatever was in there. I put too much, but I like it. I love the taste of that. You don't gotta put this much of thyme and rhyme in there. Remember that, all right? So now, as you can see, I put two little teaspoons of butter in there. Do that just to have it a little sizzling in there, have the little buttery taste, so the thyme and rhyme can be all glistening up in there. I'm telling you, folks, this steak right here is gonna come out delicioso. Look at that. That rhyme and that thyme gonna come right after that. Look at that right there. Look how golden that steak looking. This is my favorite part right here. Look at the thyme. Ooh. Now make sure you don't throw it on top of your steak. It's not gonna get inside and on your steak if it's on top of your steak. Like, put it on the side so I could say marinate and saute into the butter and the oil. And remember, when you put the oil in there, please do not soak. Do not soak your steak. You're sauteing it. So you're putting less than an inch. I can give you like probably a centimeter worth of oil. You don't fill the whole pan with oil. You just sprinkle like you saw me sprinkle, and then you wrap it around. That's all you do. All right. Make sure you do not soak your steak. Please don't do that, folks. Please don't soak your steaks. Now, once that's going on, I put 2 more teaspoons of butter in there, because you know why? I'm throwing in the sides. This right here can be a whole dish. I'm teaching you how to cook a whole dish for your little boo thing, for your lover. Just don't take that long. Take about 30 minutes to make. Look at that. If you already prepared for this, it's gonna take about 30 minutes to make, man. All right. So now I put the asparagus in there. Right when it's on there, you put the asparagus all up around there. Let it sit on the sides. Let it go right around. It's gonna be perfect. Now, mind you, remember, we putting this in the oven. Remember that. All right. So it's all gonna be cooked and all nice. I was checking on my rice over there. I got some jasmine rice over there going for y'all. Y'all know how to make some jasmine rice. Now you put the mushrooms on there. If you made the mushrooms, you like mushrooms, you want mushrooms in this is how you do it with the mushrooms right here. You put the mushrooms on top. Now, if you wasn't using mushrooms or asparagus, you'll just wait for the 4 minutes to be done. Flip it one more time for the other side, and then you put that John in the oven. But because I'm putting the asparagus in there and the mushrooms, I'm going to flip one more time. I'm going to show you. Flip one more time. Look at that. Look at that. Now, your steak would be done if you're a person that likes medium well like me. I wouldn't have did 4 minutes. I would have did about 3 minutes or so, and then threw it in the oven for like 10 minutes, and it would have been like medium well, depending on how big your steak is. So you see that I preheated my oven 375. Now you put it in the oven for 10 minutes, you bring it out, and it should be looking like that. Now you still put your stove back on after the 10 minutes. You still got some stuff to do. You ain't done. Now the only thing you need to do is take the vegetables out, Take the mushrooms and the asparagus out of that, because you ain't gonna need that no more. Now remember, the reason why I put everything in there at the same time, so all that seasoning and vegetables and mushroom flavor can be all up in this sauce. You know why I want it all up in this sauce? So I can show y'all this right here. Now once you got all your sauce, it's all at the bottom of your pan right there, you turn it over, get a spoon, and you just let it glaze on top of your steak. Look at that glaze. Honey glazed steak, baby. Look at that. Now you can keep glazing it as much as you want. Just know, keep that fire on the bottom on medium. Just keep it on the bottom on medium. Tilt it to the side so it can be heating up that sauce. You know, if you got any ramen thyme on top of your steak, make sure to take that off, and then just keep putting the joints on there. Keep putting that sauce on there. So now I sauced it all up. Put it on that plate. Blah! Look at that. Don't that make you mouth water right there? That's some mouth watering stuff right there. Be safe. Make sure you turn off your stove. Now I put the garlic joint on there. You know, after eating this, the garlic, it wasn't that bad. It was artificial butter and stuff like that. It wasn't that bad, but I could have made better butter than that. I could have made way better butter than that. So this is the final result. Look at that. Now, would you honestly go to a restaurant to get this done for $200, $300? Well, you can get this done right here for a clean $50 for 2 people. Just gotta put the time in. And the rhyme. Don't forget the rhyme. Don't forget the time. Look at that. Thank y'all for watching. Have a good day, y'all.